welcome to video number 3. My name is Kate Varini. This is video 3 of week 3 and the topic is customer relationship management. So we were talking about doing personalization. We were talking about thinking how we can handle customers' complaints, and a complaint is an opportunity to build loyalty and advocacy. And the next thing, I'm really going to come back now and zoom in on TripAdvisor. So we know that it's important to aim to be really high up in TripAdvisor rankings. We know TripAdvisor now has areas dedicated to destinations where customers talk about tourism destinations, as well as restaurants, hotels, and different businesses within those destinations. So it's important for us to keep an eye on all of those different areas of TripAdvisor, because clearly we might be a player in the destination like a hotel, but what people say about the destination itself, the tourism destination, is of course going to also impact our own long-term revenue. So one of those ideas about building our rankings in TripAdvisor is to think about how to encourage customers to actually go and put their reviews online. We mentioned the camera for the videos, but we also need to think about using a customer relationship management tool to actually facilitate the putting online of these reviews. So somehow we've got to make it easy for customers to put those reviews online, because we've seen from the first video that we looked at that the more reviews that are online, the better the rankings, but also the more reviews we have, the more credible the business is. However, of course, there's a risk associated with having all of these reviews, and the risk is we're going to get some bad reviews. And 1 or 2 bad reviews in the midst of perhaps 50 really good reviews can have a really significant negative impact on our future revenue. Therefore, we need to build a strategy to actually to use the good reviews to actually promote ourselves by responding to some of them, saying, oh, thank you very much for this review. I saw that you enjoyed your stay with us. By the way, did you also know that this other experience was available? So we can respond to the positive reviews, but clearly the response to the negative reviews is going to be important too. So again, if you go and have a look at our case, the Hotel Berna Milano, we can see that they're ranked currently at the moment of this video. They're ranked number 6 out of 433 hotels in Milan, which is great because they're 4-star, small, family-run independent hotel, and they're competing with some very large chain hotels as well as the 5-star luxury properties. And what we can see is they have almost 3,600 reviews at the moment of this video. They probably have no more now if you're seeing this video a little bit of time after I filmed it. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go on TripAdvisor, pull up the name of this hotel, and go and have a look at the reviews, some of the reviews, and the response by the hotel to some of the positive reviews, but also to some of the negative reviews. Here on this slide we can see there's a review of a customer that was disappointed. So this is one particular review that I'd like you to go and have a look at. They don't have many bad reviews, they do have a few, so you should be able to find this quickly. This is Tina K from the US, and we can see that she was disappointed, and you can read everything that she wrote there. Go and have a look at the hotel manager's response and think about how that impacts what other people are going to think when they come and look at that review, because that's what we've got to manage. We've got to manage, of course, this customer's disappointment, but we've got to bear in mind thousands of other people, maybe even millions, are going to be coming to look at this review, so the response is critical. Go and have a look at it because it's quite good. There's another review for the Hotel Berna Milano about bed bugs. The nightmare. Every hotelier's nightmare when we have a review where a customer says, I had bed bugs and this was terrible. And the customer even posts a photograph of the bites that she says she got in the hotel. How would you respond to a review like that? Well, go and have a look at the Hotel Berna Milano and have a look at how the manager responded, because I think it was very, very skillfully done. So we need to, if necessary, think about getting a PR, a public relations company perhaps, to help us properly answer these customer reviews, not only the negative ones, the neutral ones as well, but also the positive ones, because they're a fantastic marketing tool and they really show something about how we're going to be caring for this customer if they should actually decide to come back or come to the resort for the first time. So customer relationship management is a whole philosophy. We do, I think, need technology to help us collect the customer data and manage the customer throughout the booking period, the stay and after the stay, and hopefully to bring back the customer to book directly. But all of that, all of those touches that we have with the customer through the use of customer relationship management also will generate opportunities for revenue in the pre-stay part of the booking, during the stay, while the hotel customers at the destination, by using upselling and cross-selling, but also managing complaints, and then after the customer has left, to get them to post the reviews online, recommend us to other customers, and maybe come back and book direct, meaning we also generate 40% more revenue because we're not having to pay commission to our online travel agent. And of course, I haven't even talked about the search engine optimization and the rankings in, for example, Google. Now, in the last part of this week's videos from me, we're going to be talking about some other uses of social media. And the next thing I want to talk to you about are group sales and flash sales. So, for example, group sales on sites like Groupon, Living Social, and other sites. We have the possibility also to try and generate some additional sales and additional revenue. And what I'm showing you on the screen is a really nice example that I saw pop up on Groupon this week. Because the idea here is there's a whole strategy behind group sales and flash sales. And I'm not going to go into that on these videos, this week's videos. That's going to be a topic for later. But what I want to share with you is this nice example of a Spanish course in Valencia. So this is kind of a perhaps a residence that maybe has a very quiet, low demand period, and they're offering 1 to 4 weeks of Spanish courses with accommodation in a bungalow in Spain. And that's really, really nice, because what better than to learn a language actually in the country where that language is spoken. And here, if I wasn't so busy, I would be really tempted by this offer. And why am I tempted? Because it's not just saying, oh, come and buy a hotel and it's 50% off. It's come and stay in our hotel, and during your stay we've organized 15 hours of language courses a week, plus you're going to have a bike so you can wander around and actually practice the language that you're learning. And in addition to that, I think they offer dance classes too, salsa or something like that. So it all sounds really wonderful, and I would be so tempted to book, not for 1 week, but for 4 weeks. So just an example of how we can use group sales to generate additional revenue during our low demand periods. And the thing is here, we need to be creative. We need to think about new ways and different ways to actually get people excited about coming to our destination for new types of experiences. And the classic example of this would be thinking about ski resorts. Ski resort by default is in a mountain area. And mountain areas are beautiful 365 days a year. And it's quite rare to see, for example, a mountain resort selling experiences during the autumn. And for me, the autumn period is the most beautiful in the mountains. So that's just one example. Another example is a beach resort. Beach resorts just sell sand, sea and sun during those hot summer periods. But a beach resort is also beautiful during winter periods too, where the climate is very mild, where people perhaps recovering from their winter coughs and sneezes could actually go for a relaxing couple of weeks. It's quiet, it's not packed with tourists, and yet we never really see those destinations trying to sell themselves for perhaps different experiences than sun, sea and sand. So we need to be creative, we need to kind of brainstorm and think of new ways and new exciting things. And that's why I think this is a good example to share with you. One other thing destinations can do to actually use social media, of course, are blog trips. I'm not going to go through this slide, there's a lot of words on this slide, so what I'd like you to do is to just pause the video and have a read of the slide. what are the suggestions with regard to organising a blog trip. So clearly we want major bloggers who have a lot of followers. We're going to invite them to our business or our destination, and we're going to ensure they have an experience that they're going to want to write about, not just once but over a series of blogs. And that's going to hopefully encourage others to come to our destination, perhaps during those low demand periods. And of course the last thing I'd like to talk about is the online reputation management tools. Clearly social media is important for optimizing revenue, so we want to have a look at a tool that's going to help us generate some kind of understanding about how customers feel about us, what other customers are going to think about our business based on those customer reviews and all of that online information that's been posted in all of those different places. Now we can do that ourselves if we have some time. We can use some tools like Wordle.net to we can grab all of everything that customers are saying about us and chuck it into Wordle, and Wordle will create a lovely little word map for us so we can understand a little bit what are the things people have been talking about most. But also we can hire a company like Brand Karma, Trust You, Review Pro, etc. to actually do that analysis for us if we have, of course, the budget to do that. At the destination level, I think it would be quite interesting to, there's so many players within a destination, so if each player contributed a small amount to actually using technology to analyze sentiment about a destination and to then benchmark that with other destinations, I think that would be a very valuable activity. So here, just on the next slides, you see some examples of what we can see through. Here we see an example of Review Pro. We've got competitive analysis and social media analysis. And if you want to see more about how to use flash sales to maximize revenue, how to use in general social media to improve revenue, then I'm giving you a link to some slides that I put in SlideShare that was a past presentation that I did, but hopefully I'll be introducing that topic in some future courses. Last thing I want to talk about, which is very close to my heart, is gamification. So thinking about developing games in order to gather information about customers and track customers during their stay perhaps at a destination, but also to understand what's important for customers and use the game to optimize revenue. We've all seen online games that are free to download, and then suddenly if you want to go up a level or if you want to add something or change something, you then need to pay a small amount to download that additional option. Well, let's think about that in our tourism business. And there's really a lot of development in this area at the moment about how to use games as virtual tour guides, games to control customers' movements around the destination, games to maximize learning about a tourist destination, which is at the end of the day one of the reasons why people go to tourism destinations, and also location-based games. And I've given you a link to Ingress, which is a location-based game, as well as TripAdvisor, that creates location-based games based on destinations. And there's a bit of information for you about the age. You would think that gamers, people who play games, would be children, but in actual fact, the average age of a gamer is 37, interestingly, and 2 out of 5 gamers are female. So it's not about young men. So just think about that and think about your future customers as well and how important games might be in your revenue management strategy in the future. And here are just some slides. Of course, we've got the classic augmented reality by using our mobile phones to actually understand more about statues and areas and zones within the tourist destination. And then what you see here in the last slide is a wonderful pop-up virtual tour guide that is at the moment offered by TripAdvisor. And there, every time we're in a destination and we're in different areas and we want to learn about it, we can actually just use our mobile phone to have this, not only the pop-up tour guide, but also we can have things like, multiple choice questions, treasure hunts, and all kinds of other lovely things, which of course generate revenue opportunities. So that's the end of this video. The next video is going to be an interview with Sylvia, who was involved in the development of the CRM tool that we've been looking at in this session. And I think what I would like her to do, and I've asked her to do, is kind of give us an example about some real concrete linkages between using customer relationship management and how this then really increases revenue opportunities for the business. Thank you.